Hello Capricorn, thank you for joining me. Welcome back if you're a returning subscriber. If you're new to the channel, thank you for coming. Please don't forget to like and share or like and subscribe. I hope you enjoy the insights here. This is a general reading. It may apply to you or it may apply to somebody else that you are connected to at this time. So you can reverse the roles if need be. If you have strong influences in your birth chart associated with another sign, then you can cross-watch to my other videos for further insights. I use the 12 houses of the zodiac, so as the cards are appearing in each house, then those are the influences that are coming to bear for you at this time. So in the first house we have Moon Soul. The first house is the house of the self. It's your appearance, what you project outwardly to other people. So if you have a strong ascendant in another sign, then that is going to be quite noticeable for the first sort of 40 years of your life. But it's also how you are perceived by others, so how they receive you, how they perceive you, how you look to them, how you come across to them. And it's also your observable characteristics and your personality as well. It's also how you make your way in the world, so it's your personal independence, how you interact on a daily basis. It's also your self-oriented interests, your physical body, your vitality. All of these things are connected to the first house. So with Moon Soul coming in there, this is there's various ways that this can manifest depending on where you are in your life and various factors. But the moon is always significant for your habits. So you may be looking at that at this time, habits or habitual behavior that you have, or certain things that you do that perhaps need changing, or some kind of shifting and adjusting in some way. It's also about moods, your moods, and cycles in your life. There could be, if you're a female, then there are definitely cycles in your life. You may be looking at that, what may be affecting you in yourself. This card can also bring in the mother, your relationship with your mother, or becoming a mother if you are a female and you're pregnant, becoming a mother. It could also be feminine issues or female issues or feminine wisdom coming in, or you could be interacting with a female who has a lot of feminine wisdom. So all of these factors come in with this card. Family issues also may come in. And sort of domestic issues. The moon also deals with all kinds of hidden or things that are unclear at this time. So you may be feeling like you're not sure about which direction to take in a certain area of your life, or something you want to do, or how you interact with others. You may be wanting to change something up, but you may just feel unsure of which direction to take. Or something could be hidden or unclear from you at this time, and it may come out during this period. It could also be that you are reflecting on the past in some way. Just don't live there. You can reflect on it, learn from it, but just don't live there. You need to be in present at all times, and that's how you make your future from your present. So just be aware that you may be feeling nostalgic for things or people. Or you could be dealing with things from the past or items from the past. It could also be bringing in a bit of clinging kind of behavior, whether it's you or somebody else that you are experiencing at this time. But like I said, anything from the past could come up. Just follow your feelings at this time, your intuition. Be receptive. Follow your gut feels, and you're going to be feeling quite sensitive at this time, quite emotional. So all of these feelings come in, and that's going to be how you're going to navigate at this time. So just follow your feelings. Your dreams may be very significant at this time, so pay attention. Also crowds and fame come in with this card. So if that is indicated for you, then you may be experiencing issues around that, or you may be just experiencing more fame, or be in sort of crowded places, or visiting crowded places, or maybe it's part of your job where you are dealing with crowds in general. Also, with the moon card coming in, nurturing and food is important. So all of these, you're going to need to nurture yourself, who you are internally and externally. Just don't overdo the food situation. Go for natural, wholesome foods to keep you in balance. But it's all about that. It's all about nurturing. Addictions and dependencies can also come up with this card, so just be aware of that at this time. Then in the second house, we have Aquarius, I know. So your second house is your house of your income, your money that's coming in, however you bring your money in. So it's all to do with that. It's also to do with everything that you own. So it's ownership, your possessions. It can be land, it can be property, it can be any kind of ownership item that you have. It's also your relationship with your value system. So what value systems you have. So this is what you value in your life, in yourself, in others, in your possessions, in your world, everything that you value. It's also very closely connected to your self-worth. So your self-worth is connected to also what you value. So, all of these factors come in the second house. So now with Aquarius, I know coming in, you're probably going to be needing to bring in sort of detachment, reasoning, and especially if you're making decisions about certain things, reasoning and detachment will serve you well at this time. So to try to apply that when it comes to your money coming in and those other issues that I mentioned. You may also just be feeling of a different mind. You may be just feeling different from others. You could be either involved with unconventional or unusual things, or you may be interested in unconventional, unusual things. So as I said, this is possessions. It could be perhaps you want to invest your money or put your money somewhere, and it's caught your eye because it's different. Okay. You could also be looking ahead at this time, because Aquarians are like that. They look into the future. So you may be getting flashes of the future. You may be able to read trends at this time, and be able to follow that when it comes to how you're spending your money, and just keeping an eye on trends and following how things are moving around you. You could also just be thinking about the future for yourself. You may also be experiencing support from friends and alliances at this time. Groups, whoever you're interacting with may be very supportive at this time of you and what you're striving to do. You could also be changing it up when it comes to technology. Either you're interested in technology, or you are changing something in your life which is an upgrade for you, because Aquarius deals with future tech, anything that's futuristic. But for you, in practical terms, it could just be an upgrade from what you have currently been using, or you're going to use technology in some way to assist you going forward. This card can also bring in new ideas, futuristic concepts, or just new concepts, which are really going to change the way you think about things and the way you look at things, or you could be applying those insights, and it's almost like intuition, a form of genius. You're going to be applying that to what it is that comes up for you in the second house. In the third house, we have air element, communicating. So the third house is a communication house as well, so this is highly indicated for you. The third house is all forms of communication. So this is written, verbal, and could even be body language. And it can also be receiving as well as giving. So this is communication that you're receiving as well as communication that you are making. The third house also deals with documents and contracts of all kinds, because it's written, right? So anything like that is important at this time. So now with this card coming in, as I said, you may be receiving messages or you may be giving messages outwardly to others. The third house also covers interactions with various people, could be in your work life or just amongst other people that you're moving amongst, but it can also be directly to certain family members. So that's cousins, aunts, uncles, siblings, even neighbors fall into this as well. As I said, communication is highly indicated at this time. This is the manifestation card. So if you want to manifest positive things in your life, then you have to think and you have to speak positive. You really have to train yourself to do that, because it's very easy to slip off and drop in a negative word or a negative thought, and before you know it, it takes hold. So you want to focus on positive things because those are the things that are going to manifest, and manifestation is highly indicated with this. So think things through carefully, choose your words with care, use discernment, be logical. Also, this card is about walking your talk. So you may be required to do that at this time in some way. This card can also bring in an opening of the clairsenses. So this is clairsentience, clairvoyance. There's a whole range of them, and it's all about opening up your extrasensory perception that may come in for you. You may just also need clarification on certain things. So take advantage of having this card in your communication house, because it's going to be highlighted for you, and you really will get to the root or clarify a great many things if you can apply it. This is also about expressing what you want. It's about sharpness, ambition, going after or using your words to attain what you require. The third house also deals with trips. So short trips that you may be going on or may want to go on. It's more than likely air travel, but it's short. It's not long distance. Okay, this is short travel. Or you could just be going to higher places, that's mountain areas, or just being in high places, which allow you actually to clear your senses as well. So all of these things are indicated at this time in the third house. But you can go a long way with this card. This can really manifest a lot of things for you at this time. Then in the fourth house, we have Aries I Am. Your fourth house is your house of home. This is your physical home where you're actually living. It's physical bricks and mortar. It's also the atmosphere in your home and the people in your home. It's also your relationship to your roots, your foundation, where you came from. So it's your ethnic identity, your ancestry, and your family, your roots. So it's a relationship with that as well. So now with this card coming in, it's a fiery card. It's an action card, and it's assertive card. So in some way, you need to take action in whichever way that is for you in the fourth house. So you need to put into motion what you want. So it's a fast-moving energy. So it will require a quick reaction, or you will be wanting to take action on something which will be fairly swift. But don't force or bulldoze with this card. The best way to tackle it is to have measured and disciplined action. You need to be seen as steady. You may need to show leadership in some way within your household. You could also be facing a challenge of some kind, and this card is about overcoming challenges. It's got a winning element to it. You could also be dealing with a troublesome person in your environment, or a difficult situation. You just need to take action on it now. But as I said, the best way to deal with it is to deal with it quickly, but in a measured and steady way, and a disciplined action. So no quick temper, no flare-ups, no conflicts, because they won't go well for you at this time. You just need to be firm and assertive, but in that way. You could also just be physically changing your home in some way. So taking action on that, you may just want to redecorate it. And if that's the case, you're going to be possibly using the colors associated with this, which would be red and orange and the strong fiery colors, which may just bring in a good new strong energy into your home, which you may need at this time. Then in the fifth house, we have Sun Spirit, a lovely card to be having. There's nothing negative about this card at all. It really is a lovely energy to be coming in for you, and it can manifest in a great many ways for you. The fifth house is your house of your personal creativity. It's also, which is not necessarily artistic ability. This is creativity in all things, and it comes out of your core. It's also the house of children, whether they're your children or other children that you're associated with. And it's also that childlike innocent and that lovely bringing that energy into your life. It's also the house of love affairs, and it's the house of having fun, recreational activities, club activities, getting out and about, doing all kinds of activities which you enjoy. There is a speculative aspect to this, so you could be, so this is the stock exchange, stock market, interests in that, and also gambling, activities of that nature can come into the fifth house as well. So now with this card coming in, this is about, it's going to bring you, or it could be you, or it could be your children that you're seeing this, or your interaction with your children, so you can see how that goes. But it's confidence. It's about shining your light as well. It's about being radiant and radiating happiness and joy. It's about feeling happiness and joy. It's also about passion. So if you're entering into a relationship, a love affair, then that is going to come in for you. Or it could just be you applying that in your creative life or with your children. But it's passion to do more, to be more. You will have a great deal of influence at this time. You will be feeling quite charismatic, or you will be coming across as charismatic to others. This card brings strength in as well. You can be very inspiring to others at this time. You may be feeling very generous. But however this is coming in for you, you're going to be noticed in some way. So you're going to be in the spotlight in some way. There's going to be recognition for you, or it could be for your children, as I said. There's some kind of recognition, so it's being in the spotlight. Fun, if none of those things apply to you, then it's just about fun and creativity. You could be bringing those activities into your life, or you could be going after something which you really, really enjoy at this time and thoroughly enjoying it and feeling very at home and really blossoming in that environment. It could also be acting and stage work, as I said, literally being in the spotlight. It's also about being positive, and there will be a positive and meaningful outcome if you are approaching something which has been a bit of a cause of concern for you before. This is a card which will help you to overcome that and really achieve a positive and meaningful result. This card can also be about planning a summer party of some kind, a summer event, which is going to be very joyful and happy event. A summer party, children will be involved or family will be involved, but it really is a lovely event which you could be planning at this time for the summer months. Then in the sixth house, we have Pluto transformation. So the sixth house is your house of work, workplace, work colleagues, work projects. And if none of those things apply to you, then it's about self-mastery of your actual craft, mastery of your craft, whatever it is that you do. It's also the house of your sort of daily routines in those environments, and it's also your daily routines as well with your health and your diet, and just health and diet in general. It's also the house of pets, your pets. So now with Pluto transformation coming in, you're going to be facing quite an intense period at this time in this house. It could manifest in a variety of ways. You could be seeing things coming to the surface because Pluto rules the underworld. So anything that has been hidden or secretive or just lying under the surface, it just wasn't ever noticed or just never came out, may come to the surface now. It could also just be that your hidden feelings over certain things are now coming out. But if it's a secretive situation, that may be revealed now, or it could have, as I said, just be a sort of something that wasn't noticed now coming to the surface. Intrigues may come in as well if it's a work situation. But just hidden things. So you can apply that in whichever way. It could even be a health and diet issue. Something that wasn't noticed is now coming out. This card can also bring in endings and beginnings, which is not necessarily a drama situation. Yes, something may end and something may begin, but it's a very necessary transformation, which is what this card is about. It's a necessary and it's an inevitable thing. We all have to go through it. So whatever it is that comes for you in this house, approach it like that. So something is falling away because it needs to fall away, and something new is coming in to replace it. And that is now what you must work with going forward. So something old and familiar makes way for something new, but the new is needed. So it's something that's going to refresh you and rejuvenate you in some way. It could also be that new ideas and ways are coming in. So whether this is you applying it or it's coming into your workplace, or other people that you work with are bringing these new ideas and ways in. And this is going to really test you at this time. But it could also be something that falls away or something that dies off. And then something new and much better comes out of that. That can also happen with this card. So literally out of the ashes, something will come out. Just be careful with your finances at this time. This is the big finances like taxes and investments and insurances and inheritances and things like that. Just be careful around that at this time. Or it could be a financial issue to do with your workplace or something that you're busy working on at this time. You could also be seeing something from the past for what it is. So it looked better in the past than what it is actually. So you may be having a little bit of a disappointment or a rethink on that. When it comes to your health and diet, this card is associated with the lower colon. It's also associated with the procreative organs and systems and sex in all its manifestations. But if none of that is applying for you, this may bring in regeneration or rejuvenation of some kind, or renewal, some form of renewal or some form of healing. Then in the 7th house, we have Saturn Truth. Your 7th house is your house of relationships. This is close, personal, one-on-one relationships. So this can be a love relationship, or it could be a business partnership, or some other relationship that is close and one-on-one at this time. So with this card coming in, this is a challenge card coming in for you in this house. It's all about the truth, facing the truth in certain things, facing any shadow dynamics that may exist in this relationship, or truths may come out as well, or you just may notice it now. You may just really see, or you may have the strength to finally face the truth in certain things. So you may be challenged in that, but it's about gaining wisdom as well. So with that, you will learn something. You will actually understand something better, and you will gain wisdom. Okay. But when you start facing the truth and you start dealing with shadow dynamics and certain things, then also you need to examine the foundation of this relationship. If the foundation is not strong, or if there are elements of it that are not strong, then Saturn will force you to face that, and actually it may even tear it down, and you've got to start again, or do away with it and start fresh. So it's always about solid foundation, solid achievement in whatever, wherever this comes in. So that's what you always are striving for. So if it's a relationship, you're either going to make it or you're going to break it. Okay, so it's about looking at that, and if the foundation is solid and it's worth it, and there just perhaps a few issues that need to deal with it. It may come up as a truth and you now have to deal with it, but if this is a worthwhile relationship for you, then don't give up. Keep going, apply yourself to it, apply the hard work and the time and the patience. This is not a fast-moving energy. This is not a fast-moving card. This is a slow-moving energy. It requires patience and time. Okay, you may also be facing age issues of some kind, because Saturn is about age. It's about gaining wisdom, and it's about maturity. So you may be facing that in this relationship as well. It's also, you may be having a few power or control issues, or dealing with those. So look at that. That's part of the shadow dynamic. Just avoid, in this house, the 7th house, just avoid clashes with authority figures and systems. The lower courts do come in the 7th house. So legal issues may come up. So just avoid clashes with authority figures and systems. Play by the rules. Fairness is highly indicated with Saturn. Okay, so you won't get away with anything that is not truthful. Playing by the rules and fair. Okay. Then in the 8th house, we have solar eclipse revolution. So the 8th house is the next step on from a deeper relationship. So this is the 8th house deals with the merging of a deeper committed relationship. So whether this is a love partnership or a business partnership, it's all the elements that you bring together when you merge. So this is sort of the sexual side of it, if it's a love relationship, but it's also in a marriage or some kind of commitment. It's the emotional and material resources that you are merging. So that can come in with the 8th house. It's also about big finance. So this is inheritances, legacies, trusts, investments, insurance, tax, banking and accounting. All of these elements come in. It's also about handling other people's money if you are responsible for that as part of your profession, or you're doing it on behalf of your partner or on behalf of others. That all comes in on this house. So it's a powerhouse. There may be a few power struggles going on in this house because that can happen. It's also, so with this card coming in, you basically, you can expect swift changes coming to you now. Swift changes in this house. There's going to be a complete rearrangement of things going on. You may need to be, well, in fact, you probably will have to make a decision, and you will be pushed towards that decision as well. This can also bring in, this house's endings and beginnings, and the solar eclipse brings in endings and beginnings. So, or it could be a swift change of direction in this house. So it's somewhere in there that this is going to go down in this house. It could be a jolt of some kind. So a jolt comes to you and then a swift change of direction. It's also about self-mastery. So whatever goes down in this house, that will lead you towards self-mastery, but you can't really deal with self-mastery until you deal with your shadow self. Or any shadow issues within this relationship, whether it's a business partnership or a deeper committed relationship, or when you're dealing with money, big finance, dealing with any of those kinds of issues. Handling other people's money as well. So any shadow aspects will come to light at this time, and they'll have to be dealt with. But it's also about mastery of that. And you may also be required with this card, if none of those apply to you, may be required to change or fix something. So it brings in the wonderful opportunity in order to do that. So it's a kind of a deeper self-analysis or analysis of the situation, looking at it, and then changing or fixing something to create something much, much better. And that whatever it is created is really can really be the most rewarding and very beneficial outcome. But it would not have come about had you not changed or fixed something in that dynamic. Okay, so swift changes, rearrangement. That's what this card is about. Then in the 9th house, we have water element sensing. The 9th house deals with all things international. So this can be international travel, or it can be international relations of some kind. It can be online international relations. It can be anything foreign. That's import, export, or it could be foreign concepts, foreign religions, foreign people, foreign cultures, and it's your exposure to that. It's the house of sort of adult education and further education or study, which is university level. So you could be, if that may come in for you if you're thinking of studying something. It's also the house of belief systems, all kinds of belief systems. It's the house of religion, and it's the house of philosophy. It also rules, this house also rules publishing, public relations, and any kind of promotional work. It's also the house of law, okay? And it's the house of teaching, and also dealing with your in-laws in some way as well. That can come in as well. So with this house, it's the gaining of wisdom really through adventure and exploration as well, whether that's through the mind or through physical exploration. So with the water element sensing coming in, this is about going with the flow for this at this time. So it's about accessing your ideas and your dreams. You don't want to be embarking on a new course of action or any kind of big grandiose plans at this time. This is the pause before action, this card. So it's about conserving your energy, tapping into your ideas and dreams, coming up with plans, gathering resources. If there are stormy conditions going on around you, just let them pass. But don't be taken advantage of in any way, shape, or form. So you need to maintain your boundaries during this period, but just go with the current for now. All imaginative endeavors are highly favored at this time with this. So this is writing, painting, creating, any kind of play. Anything like that is highly indicated at this time. So you may also need to just spend time alone to access those that imaginative side of yourself, or just, as I say, to rest and to gather your energies. There's a lot of inner processing going on with this card. It could also bring in trips across water or to bodies of water. So that's lakes, rivers, the ocean. All of those may come in for you in this house. Then in the 10th house, we have earth element stability. Your 10th house is your house of career. It's your ambitions. It's what you're striving for. So it's also your fame and your reputation and your public status. And it's also the house of authorities, whether this is somebody you know, like a family member or a friend or somebody you're working with in your career, or it could just be the greater authorities. So this is the police, the law, any kind of authority system or figure. So now with this coming in, this card is bringing in, it brings in wisdom and practicality to you. So it also asks you to stand strong in whatever is going on in your 10th house. You're going to have to be determined and methodical to achieve what you want at this time. But it's telling you to take your time, no rushing, okay? It's about being patient while you build your foundations, while you build your status or your career or your fame or whatever it is that you're involved with. It's about as I said, being determined and methodical, because this is an ambitious house, right? So because you are a Capricornian, you will understand what this is about. You will know, you will understand what this means at your core. So I do feel also that this is asking you to be a bit more broad-minded. Let go of criticism of yourself or of others at this time. And also rigid points of view which don't serve you right now. You need to try new things, okay? You need to let go of certain fears that you might have and take action to try new things. Because while you do that, you're going to be able to, as I say, broaden your mind, and you'll find more opportunities come to you as well. And you will be perceived well by others as well, because you are broad-minded. You are prepared to try new things. So old, rigid points of view that used to serve you back in the day won't serve you now. It's about being a bit more flexible. Yes, stand strong to your truth and use your wisdom and practicality, but apply it in different ways now as well. It's about getting organized as well. But one of the really good aspects with this card as well is that you're going to be meeting the right people. And for you, this is important, okay? Meeting the right people, and this is going to carry through into your 11th house, which we will talk about now, because the 11th house is all about that, and you've got Capricorn in that house at this month. So this is highly indicated for you. It also came up in your 3rd house, which is all about communication, and your 5th house, which is about having confidence and really showing people what you've got. So this is all about that, and I do feel it's coming in on this house, and it's coming in on your 11th house as well. So meeting the right people. In your 11th house, you have, this is your home card, Capricorn I use. So the 11th house is the house of, it's the house of friendships, but it's also the house of networking, groups, associations, societies, any kind of group situation that you may be in. It could be a group of companies or any kind of group that you partake in. It's you with amongst others in the same situation. So it's also about your particular wishes and hobbies and interests, your ideals. It's also futuristic dreams and visions. It's also group consciousness or global consciousness, trends and currents in society and in the greater world at large, and it's social reform and causes. So any of those things may trigger you at this point. You may be homing in on one of those. But with the Capricorn I use card, as I said, with meeting the right people, this is coming in and it's highly indicated for you again. So I feel this is either making friendships with these people, or you're going to be interacting with them in some way. But it really is about focusing on your objectives, and also not giving up, harnessing your contacts and your networks at this time. You're going to be moving up in the world, in however that applies for you. This card indicates a wider audience or fame as well. So this is a good time to be dreaming big. You're going to be making powerful connections at this time. And you may also find resolution with something. There will be steady progress towards a resolution of something. Your status and your reputation is highly indicated at this time, so really look after that, and bring it in on everything that you do. Your communication, as I said, is going to be very important, so be careful how you navigate that. You may also be connecting with an older, more experienced person, whether this is a friendship or somebody that you're interacting with, or a new contact that you're making, because this is indicated again also with Capricorn, somebody just older, more experienced, who can really open doors for you. And this, as I said, ambition is highly indicated with this. So however you're going to bring that into your 11th house, it's really going to be well indicated right now. Then in the 12th house, we have Yod Destiny. So your 12th house is the house of, it's the house of the unconscious. So this is your unconscious drives and motivations, the deeper self. But it's also the house of spending time on your own. So this is retreat or withdrawal, or just, some solitude and reflection, which also came up a couple of times earlier on in your chart. So it's also accessing your spiritual life, meditation, mysticism, if that's implied for you, and it's also about finding healing in certain things. It's also the house of service to others. The 12th house is also the house of escapism and addictions of all kinds. It's also the house of karmic lessons that may be coming in for you. And these all things are tied in together as well. So with Yod Destiny coming in, this is going to apply a fair bit of pressure to you. It's quite a strong point there. However this applies for you, but it's in the 12th house. So any one of these areas is going to be highlighted for you. So this is like, it's a fate and a destiny card. So this is about almost basically you're going to be finding your truth, in some circumstance here. And it's almost like dealing with what you tried to avoid. It's almost like you can't avoid it. So you tried to avoid it, but now you have to deal with it anyway. So your circumstances are fated, okay? It's something you just have to do, all right? So fated circumstances or situations, and at this time you may just be feeling a bit different from others. You may be feeling out of step with others. You may be working alone in some way. This house also deals with your interactions or your experiences in institutions of all kinds. So whether this is government institution or a hospital, or it could even be a prison, or it could be a library or a university or a museum, any kind of institution, it's your experiences in there, whether it's you directly or somebody that you're visiting those institutions with. So you could also be working in an institution of some kind. So you may be working alone at this time. You may just be feeling sort of apart from others. But you're not to worry about that, because this is very important about finding your truth. Your inner GPS, your inner knowing already knows what to do. You already have a path. You just have to access it. You have to go inward. So this is where the meditation comes in. You need to spend time on your own to actually go inward and pull that out of yourself. So whatever stressful situations are going on and whatever you're dealing with, your inner GPS, your inner knowing already knows what to do. And you don't really need advice or input from others, because you know what to do. So just do it, okay? So deal with it. Work your way through various aspects. You may be pioneering in something. But ultimately, this card is about making a difference in some way. So whether it's making a difference in yourself or making a difference with others, because this house is also service orientated towards others. There will be pressure, but through that you will find healing. You will be overcoming certain things, whether this is an unconscious issue that you've been dealing with or some other aspect of the 12th house, but you will be overcoming. It's through that stress and through that finding of your truth you will overcome this obstacle or obstacles. You need to apply patience. You need to be adaptable, and you may have to make a few sacrifices along the way in order to reach that place of success for yourself. Okay, Capricorn, I hope you enjoyed that. Please don't forget to like and share, or like and subscribe. Then it will circulate it more to other people who may enjoy the reading as well. And I hope you have a great month. Take care, and I will see you next time.